Here we go. And we're getting rolling, baby. It is time for the Berman Golf Workshop. We are going to be going over the basic fundamentals on how to use your body the right way. So biomechanics. Biomechanics is this buzzword that's going on in the golf community for years now. And all it means is how does your body move the right way? Or it doesn't mean how do we move it the right way. It just means how does your body move? We want to have good body mechanic or biomechanics versus bad biomechanics. The vast majority of us amateur golfers use bad biomechanics, resulting in flipping at the golf ball, myself included, before going through this process. So we'll be going over the basic fundamentals on how do you get your body to work the right way versus the wrong way. And we'll be going over a lot of the most common questions that we get, that we've been getting for years now, and the very simple answers, maybe not easy, but very simple answers on how do you improve upon these little, I guess the biggest hiccups that we have. Before we get started though, so make sure you watch to the very end, because of course, typical Jake fashion, I can't do anything without having some type of you can't miss this offer, a once in a lifetime offer. So we'll be doing something really cool for everybody that signed up and watched this Zoom. Even if you're watching it on repeat or watching the recording of it, make sure you watch it all the way to the end, because this is going to be good. So right out of the gate, let's go really high level and just be brutally honest with the majority of amateur golfers are working way harder and not smarter to swing the golf club. Right, Case?
Absolutely.
That results in flipping at the golf ball almost 100% of the time. Tall tale sign of flipping at the golf ball is one of the biggest things is you cannot take a divot. So that's actually one of the questions, how do I take a divot? And we'll get into that here in a little bit. However, it tells you, it screams at you that you are not using your body to swing the golf club, and you're using your arms to swing the golf club because you're flipping at it, you're picking the ball, topping the ball, inconsistency, can't take a divot, losing significant distance because you're not compressing the ball. All of these things are symptoms of not using your body the correct way or using your body efficiently to move the golf club. So that's our high level. So right out of the gate, let's start off with the most common questions that we get in here, and then this is the why behind it, and then what do we do to solve it. So what's number one?
So we said we were going to bring up the thing about keeping your head down. So do you want to do that first?
Yes, of course I want to do that first. So this one is my biggest pet peeve. It's the one that I cannot stand the absolute most. When somebody hits a bad shot and they immediately say, didn't keep my head down on that one, or should have kept my head down on that one, or I was too excited to look at where the ball was going, didn't keep my head down, that's why I was sculled, chunked, or sliced, or shanked, or hooked, or whatever it is. That is almost 99.9999% of the time not the cause of that horrendous shot you just hit. Keeping your head down, or yanking it up, is a symptom of something that happened long before we ever got to picking the head up. So right out of the gate, your shitty shot was not due to not keeping your head down. What was it due to, most likely, Case?
Usually it's due to club position, or you needing to do something to get the club in a different position. So normally it's a shallowing mechanism or something like that, causing you to have to stand up. Generally speaking, it's some sort of thing that you shouldn't be doing well before the thing actually occurs.
Right. So let's just keep this really, really simple. A lot of us struggle with coming over the top. So a lot of us struggle with coming over the top, which creates a much steeper club path, club angle, angle of attack, shaft, all of this stuff. It's steeper, which means that the club is now longer. And the only way that we can not run into the ground, our brain knows that now we're swinging something that's too long, is to come out of it. That's one of the easiest ways to look at it, right?
Yep, and this is something that we're going to go in further detail here in a minute. We have some videos and things like that that'll make this a little more clear explicitly to you. So if you didn't quite understand what we're doing or what we were saying at the moment, we'll get further into it.
Right. So right out of the gate, keeping your head down or picking your head up is not the freaking problem. That is a symptom of something that happened long before. Good?
Yep.
What's next?
Question submitted to us. As hard as I try, I am not able to straighten my left arm on the downswing.
Oh, love it. This is going to be a really good one. So if you're struggling with keeping the arm straight on your downswing, again, I can almost guarantee that you're not keeping the arm straight at the top of the backswing, meaning that it's bent. Because it's really hard, or let me say it differently, it's so much easier to keep it straight on the downswing if it stays straight through the entirety of the backswing. The challenge that people run into, especially amateur golfers over the age of 50, is that the muscles in the shoulder and the chest are not strong enough to hold the arm straight. You're literally not strong enough to fight gravity and hold the club like that. So that usually results in taking it higher and bending the elbow. So here's one of the easiest and most effective things that you can do. Alignment stick. Should have an alignment stick. Address position. Split grip drill. So I'm taking my hand and I'm not in a normal grip. I'm just sliding my right hand down the shaft. So I got about a 6-8 inch gap between my hands now. And I'm going to go into the backswing, focusing on pushing my knuckles away from the golf ball. So I'm pushing my knuckles away from the target. So 6 inch gap between my hands, backswing, push my hands away from the target. So it's kind of like this fulcrum thing that I'm doing right here. This is going to get you started with allowing your brain to feel what it should feel like to get your elbow straight by using the muscles in your left shoulder and your left chest, right? Split grip. As you go into the backswing, hinge just like this, exaggerate it. And that's going to allow you to start to feel these muscles working to keep that elbow straight. Then as you continue to do it and get stronger, try to bring the hands down to a more normal grip, holding the club or the alignment stick. We want to use an alignment stick because it's significantly lighter than a golf club. The lighter it is, the easier it will be for your brain to find these muscles. Then the next progression is to do it without holding on at all with the right hand, if you're a right-handed golfer. And now you're really fighting gravity to hold the stick up using the muscles in your shoulder and your chest. This is what you need to be able to get to keep that elbow straight. You're literally simply building the muscles in your shoulder and your chest. Once you got that down, then switch to a golf club. Split grip drill, right? Normal grip. And then see if you can get to the point to where you can just hold it like this. This is literally a workout. This is an exercise right here. This should not be easy. I feel muscles working here. If you practice this enough, then it will allow your brain to keep it straight when you go into the backswing, which will then give you the chance to keep it straight in the downswing. Was that good? Mm-hmm. Clear?
Clear.
Clear as mud, baby.
Next question is knee drill for completing body turn toward target. He's completing his rotation with his weight mostly on forward foot and the rear toe. Never able to make a full rotation, so he uses a lot of arms and wrists instead of fully using the body rotation for power.
Okay, we see this a lot. So it's essentially saying I'm not able to get through the golf ball. I'm not able to get my belt buckle to the target. There's 100 drills that you can do, and we'll do 1 or 2 or 3 of them here in a minute on how you can train your brain to get through to the other side. However, there's one thing that's really important. None of the drills matter if you don't have the physical ability to rotate slowly, not dynamically, segmentally. So if you can't slowly get onto that left side, then there's no way you'll be able to do it fastly or faster. And here's the reason why. Can you tilt that thing down just a little bit? There we go. One of the #1 reasons why people, especially aging golfers over the age of 50, cannot get onto the left side is because the left knee is staying too bent as you try to swing the golf club. So from a biomechanical standpoint, you physically cannot rotate your hip any farther because the knee is too bent. As soon as I straighten the knee, then my hip is allowed to rotate even farther. So if you have a bad knee, a bad back, usually we try to instinctively keep the knee bent as I try to come through the golf ball. Problem is a bent knee will not let you rotate your hip any farther. So you're going to be stuck here. No matter what you try to do, you're not going to be able to get through it. So you've got to straighten the knee more so that the hips can come through more. So now we're just going to exaggerate a straight left knee as we come through, and then you can start doing the Gary Players drill, right? Is that one of them, Case? Mm-hmm. So Gary Players, take the step through, right? So we're hitting the golf ball, take the step through, and that will start to train your brain how to do it. What do we want to do? Any other ones? There's a million other drills that you can do. The most important thing to do is just exaggerate how straight the left knee is going into the rotation, and it'll allow the hip to turn farther. Good question. Next.
All right, so the next question is, he has a question about, he's constantly hitting behind the ball. His fault would be that he's finishing more on his trail side. His question is about de-lofting his irons, and I believe what he means there is getting that forward press at impact.
So trying to hit down on the golf ball. Forward press, hitting down on the golf ball, trying to create a divot, compress it. But the problem is chunking it?
Yeah, so he says he's constantly hitting behind it, and he's finishing more on his trail side, so back side, right side.
Okay, good. So why does it happen?
Generally speaking, this occurs...
Get into the screen.
Most of the time this occurs because of ball position. So Jake, if you want to set up to a ball real quick. What I'm thinking is happening here, if the ball is too far back and you're trying to get that forward press in your irons, anytime the ball is backwards of center, you have more of a downward strike, and it requires you to be a lot more precise about making contact. So if you take it back to the top of the backswing there and then come straight down on top of it because it's back in your stance,
that was bad.
That was bad.
That's why he took it away from me.
If I play this ball back here and I take a backswing, I have to come down on top of it. If it's way exaggerated on the front of my stance, I can now work up towards the ball. We're still hitting down on it, but the further back it is, the more it requires me to do that. And if you're trying to de-loft those irons, get that forward press, and trying to hit down on it, if the weight's on your backside, you don't have a chance. So when I typically see this, I always tell people the 3-ball rule here, which is if there's 3 balls in a row, just like this, the left one goes off the instep of my left foot for driver, the middle one is mid-irons, and the back one is wedges. And they are all forward of center, as you can see. Everything is forward of center. Don't play anything back of center if you're not a 10 handicap trying to get out of the woods or something. So generally speaking, that's what I would say.
Okay, so let me do a little bit of layman's terminology on what Case just said to make it make a little more sense. One of the things that we're trying to do is we're trying to break the habit of chunking the golf ball. One of the easiest ways to stop chunking the golf ball is to exaggerate, here's center, to exaggerate the ball being way forward, because then it's going to naturally make me want to come forward like this versus come down like this. Is that a good way to say it?
Yep, one of the best drills for this is if you move the ball, just totally move it out of the way. Put the shot stick a little bit forward of center. Yep, there you go. Take practice swings like this on the range and take divots in front of the shot stick. So there,
that's going to make me
hit the ground. So you hit behind it.
Yeah, I hit behind it.
Take practice swings and hit the ground in front of that shot stick. Take the divots up by your left foot.
There we go.
That will make you get to that left side and actually help you with extension.
Yeah, I felt it reaching more.
Right.
Okay, good question.
Golf is easy.
Move the ball. Golf is easy. Move the ball forward so it forces you to come forward. I know it sounds counterintuitive. If I'm chunking it, why would I move it farther forward? Well, it will tell your brain that you've got to do something different to get to it.
Yep. Typically speaking, a majority of the time, you're going to make contact wherever the center of your mass is, which is typically where
your tailbone.
Your tailbone is. Thank you. Typically where your tailbone is. So trying to take that divot in front of the ball, getting that tailbone further forward will help out a lot.
Good. Next question.
All right. This one is, I'm going to let you take this one. What's the first move in the downswing?
You baited me up on that one. Okay. One of the first things that you have to do in the downswing is get the hands moving in the right direction.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
So what happens is if we go into the backswing, if the first motion is this,
rotation.
Is rotation.
So if the first thing we do from the top of the backswing is rotate, which is what most people think to do, just get up there and go straight at the ball, you're never going to hit it well.
Yep.
The first move in the downswing has to be the undoing of the lift in the arms.
Right.
So the backswing, this is the easiest way that I explain it. The backswing is comprised of two things. That is rotation of the body, which is that, and then lift of the arms. So to hit the ball properly, we have to undo the lift of the arms and rotate. If you segmented the swing out, that's what it would look like. Now, nobody actually segments it into two pieces. That's why full speed swings never look that way. But you'll never, or not never, you will rarely see anybody on tour not start getting those hands down so they can turn. So the first move down is undoing the hinge in the right arm and right wrist. So we have videos for that too we can show you after this to make it a little more clear, but that's the first move in the downswing.
Yep.
All right. Do you swing the driver differently than you do irons and wedges? If so, what are your thoughts on what you're trying to achieve?
Love this one. The simplest answer is yes. You swing it differently. You swing the driver differently than irons, because with irons, you're hitting down on a golf ball. With the driver, you're hitting up on the golf ball. So theoretically, hypothetically, conceptually, you're swinging it different. Now, Case will make it even more segmental and say that there's actually 4 swings that you should be able to do. Number 1 is a driver swing. Number 2 is a mid-iron swing, or woods and iron swing, or sorry, irons.
Driver and woods, irons, wedges, putter.
Right. Yep. So driver and woods is the same thing. It's like a sweeping motion. So we have a sweeping motion with the driver. Then irons, we're going to hit down on the golf ball.
Yep.
Versus wedges.
Wedges, you're still hitting down on it, but typically that has to do more with the shot you're trying to pull off, what you're trying to do. And if you want the ball to be lower and run out, you definitely want a more sweeping type motion from the inside. Yep. Steepness gets spin and height.
Yep.
And then putter.
And then the putter.
Yep.
Right? So that's very complicated as far as technicalities go. If you want to make it stupid simple, one of the easiest ways to look at it is when you got an iron in your hand, we're thinking about hitting down on the golf ball versus if we got a driver, we're kind of sweeping up on the golf ball. Is that safe?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If you're taking divots with a driver, it's not good. If you're taking divots with woods that are really deep and not super thin type divots, it's probably also not good.
Yep. And speaking about that, here's a little fun fact that there's a significant percentage of amateur golfers over the age of 60 that are with their driver actually hitting the ground and bouncing into the golf ball.
Oh yeah, sure.
And you don't even know that you're doing it, but if you put it on slow motion and you're looking at it, you're actually bouncing the club off the ground into the golf ball, right? So don't believe me, check it out. Record yourself.
Let's see. Why don't I take a divot? Should I be taking a divot with woods? How about with irons? Flipping at the ball, that kind of thing.
Why don't I take a divot? 95% of amateur golfers are not going to take a divot because we're flipping at it with our hands, right?
True.
You cannot take a divot if you're flipping at it with your hands. It's almost physically impossible to take a divot if you're flipping at it with your hands.
It's harder.
Right? Really hard to do. Like you might get lucky and take a divot. I don't even know if it's luck. You might take one. It's really hard to take a divot if we're flipping at it. One of the reasons why is because when we flip at the golf ball, the low point is usually the golf ball, right? In order to take a divot, you got to use your body to hit the golf ball, so then the low point is past the golf ball, right? So the easiest, most blunt answer, why can't I take a divot, 99% of the time is because you're flipping at it and not using your body to get through the golf ball.
Yep.
Good?
Good.
Did we answer all the variations of that question or do we need more?
We answered that question with a previous question.
Okay. What's next?
How should I be trying to gain speed? Should I be using shot sticks? How can I transition this over to an actual golf club?
Oh, love this. So using the shot stick, what's the name of the other one? Isn't there another one?
Speed stick.
Speed stick, shot stick, helping you gain speed. All right. The thing that drives me nuts is when I have a golfer over the age of 60, or actually let me say it this way. If your body is over the age of 60, like moves the way a 60-plus-year-old would move, then these sticks are not good for you. If your body moves like it's under the age of 60, then you can use them. And here's what I mean by that. As your body ages, I'm not talking about you, like your number, not your actual age, your birth date age. As your body ages, it gets less flexible, less stable. You don't have as much control of end range positions. So when you take a 70-year-old golfer who's trying to increase club head speed because they want to get more distance, and you're taking this speed stick with weight on it and you're trying to swing it as fast as you possibly can, you may be creating more speed, but you are not creating more consistency. It's almost impossible for you to do both if your body moves like it's over the age of 60 because you don't have the control at end range. Said differently, one of the most common things that we see in here when we're working with our in-house clients in here, specifically golfers over the age of 60, is that we gain in the first 2 to 3 sessions 10 yards carry with a 7-iron with only 1 mile-an-hour increased club head speed. Now, if you look at the PGA, usually they say that with every 1 mile-an-hour club head speed you gain, you're going to gain 2.8 yards distance. But we're gaining 10 yards distance with only 1 mile-an-hour club head speed. The reason why that's happening is because now we have more control of the muscles that we're using to deliver the club head to the golf ball, which means that we're able to make significantly better contact more consistently. Once we do more consistent contact and deliver more power, because we're using more muscles into it, the laws of physics say that it has to go farther. It's a law of physics. It's not a technique. It's not the PGA of America technical thing. You're having more consistency, better ball striking because you're using more muscles. It's a reproducible swing and the ball is going to go further. So again, if your body is over the age of 60, it moves like it's over the age of 60, the speed stick is horrible for you. You'll get a significantly better return on investment doing the thing that we did earlier with the alignment stick. If you can just get really good at holding that end range position and then undoing it, you're going to get significantly better return on investment than if you go and try to freaking swing that speed stick as fast as you possibly can. Good? Mm-hmm. What's left? That was the last one.
That was the last one.
That's awesome. Cool. All right. Last thing that I'll leave you guys with, thank you for everybody tuning in there, is my phenomenal offer. I couldn't help but to write it down. Everybody that was on this call today, or anybody that's watching the recording, we're offering you a 100% free swing evaluation. It's valued at $297, so there's going to be a little more bells and whistles than our normal swing evaluation that we have. All you got to do is click on the link in the chat there, fill out the form, just give me your name, and that'll put you on the list, and we'll call you and get you signed up for it. So it's a 100% free swing evaluation. This is virtual or in-house. So if you're somewhere in the world, nationally, internationally, fill this out and we'll jump on Zoom or FaceTime, whatever we need, and do a virtual swing analysis. Or if you're in town, we'll do it in-house. Then the icing on the cake is, if you're watching this before September 2024, we've got a very special promotion going on that with any package or membership that you purchase right now, you're going to get unlimited free sessions through the entire month of September, even through October 15th. So there's a little bit of details or stipulations that apply depending on which membership or package you go with. But this is insane. This is our way to give back to you right now, getting you ready to get into golf season. So in between, if anything that's purchased between now in September, we have unlimited sessions going through the month of September, even into October 15th. So that's possibly 6 weeks of unlimited free sessions, either virtual or in-house. So jump on this now, click on the form, put your information in there, and we'll reach out to you and get you signed up for it. Besides that, do you have anything else, Case?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to do the videos.
Okay.
All right, if y'all are ready, we're going to look at some videos real quick to answer some of these questions in a little more detail. Let's share screens here. All right, so let's see. Let's use a good example here. Let's use Jake.
Oh my goodness.
You want to use latest ones or let's go earliest ones? Let's go a while ago.
Yeah, let's do early.
All right, so let's go here. All right, so we're going to go into a few things here. We're going to talk about the head thing and the standing up thing, and we're going to talk about path here. So we're going to make this as quick as possible without having to go way too much into technical stuff like everyone who knows me knows that I like to do. This line right here is the line of the club angle at address. It's the shaft angle or the plane, as you've probably heard it called before. So here we have, this is an old swing in all fairness to Jake.
Yeah, this is old.
This is old in all fairness to Jake.
It's better now.
It's better now. We have definitely an arm lifted up swing here just because of where the club is. So we can always, you always kind of know what the body is doing based off where the club is, as we said before. When we get up to the top of the backswing here, there goes the arm lift. So now we're going to talk about kind of what we've talked about before, which is the first move in the downswing. If that club right there moves towards the golf ball at all, you're toast. And so that's what we've kind of been getting Jake out of the habit of doing. Is
well, hold on. Explain on a 5th grade reading level. You're toast. What does that mean?
That means you're not going to hit good shots. You're going to have to make some sort of move that slows down your golf swing or does something to get the club back to the ball.
Okay, you're going to have to manipulate your body in some way, shape, or form just to make contact.
Right. So anytime the body rotates, it pushes the hands this way to the right. And what that means is if you don't get your hands somewhere back here, you can't rotate. That's as simple as I can. Is that not simple enough?
Yeah, you don't rotate, you stand up.
Or do something to get the hands down there. So there goes the pull down of Jake right there, and then here in a second what you're going to see when I take that line away is the stand up by his body and the throw of the hands, right?
Okay, so do the line so they can see the stand up.
Okay. Well, you do an okay job of keeping your head there, but go back to the top. Oops, wrong lines. We'll do a head position here, and we'll do a vertical shoulder position. So there goes the pull down and then the stand back up right there. So you're doing that because you started your hands down towards the golf ball.
So one of the easiest ways to look at it is my shoulders, my upper back is way more rounded here than it was in the address position.
Exactly.
Which means I'm trying to create room so that I don't run into the ground before the golf ball.
Because you can see by that time right there, he's thrown the club. You can go, because you see it go from here. Now we have hinge in these arms still right there. There's hinge in the right arm. There's a ton of hinge in the wrist right there. And then in the time frame from his belt buckle to impact, that's totally gone, right? Hinge is gone, which means he's unloaded the club with his hands and stood up. So generally speaking, this happens because of a lack of rotation, which happens because of where the club is. So to make this as simple as possible, the drill that we like to do for most all of our clients at first is to do a drill where this isn't it, this is, I believe, yep. Is to do a drill where we're segmenting out the downswing, where we're going to take it back to the top and then we're going to drop nothing but our arms and then we're going to rotate. Jake, you want to do a better job explaining that? Or was that a good enough job explaining
it? It was good. Just show it so that we can point it out as we're doing it.
Okay. So I'm going to purposely exaggerate the backswing here, right there, get my hands a little higher than I normally would. And then from here, what I'm going to do is without rotating anything in my body, I'm just going to bring my hands down. So in the golf swing, this of course doesn't happen because we're rotating as we're doing this move. But your arms are doing exactly what mine are doing here. If you're hitting good shots, you're just doing it with rotation. Does that make sense?
That was really good.
Okay. So now from this position right here that I have my hands down, I'm going to turn my body to deliver the club. And you can see that move right there is night and day different than what we just saw from Jake's at impact, right?
Yes.
Rotated versus stood up and thrown. If you have any questions about this, you can obviously ask us or email us, but that is definitely the drill that we want people to do because it produces a different result than having the club go over the top this way. You can see right around here his chest is going to kind of stop rotating. He's going to stand up in the back and throw it and get that rounded look to it versus a look that is more constant rotation delivering the club. So that is the first move in the downswing, and that is kind of the difference or what we said originally about standing up in club position.
Yes.
Does all that make sense, Jake?
Yes.
Does everything I said make sense?
That was good. That was simple.
Good. Okay, so anything else we need to cover?
I think that's the biggest one. Make sure the hands are working down.
Make sure the hands are working down before you start rotating, before you start turning. If you start turning, you're never going to be able to get your hands down without stopping.
Yep. So this is a a practice thing, something that you're going to have to really break down. You can't really do it in real time because it happens too fast. So break it down, segmental, make sure that you can feel the hands working their way down, and then we're rotating through the golf ball.
Exactly.
Good?
Good.
Anything else? That was a great session. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Anybody that's got any questions at all, email us distance@bermangolf.com. Make sure you take advantage of this offer that we have going on. Very limited time, very limited availability. Once the schedule is completely filled, we're not taking on anybody else for the unlimited free sessions through September all the way through October 15th. So email us with any questions or excitement, or if you want to sign up. Let's do this thing. Yeah.